Hi guys, welcome back to the Colchester Golf Academy. I'm here today to help you gap the bottom of your bag properly by giving you some really simple tips and showing you how important it is to hit the correct distances with your shorter clubs. What you tend to find is people tend to carry a pitching wedge and a sand wedge. What people don't realise is that all the way through your golf bag, in your irons, between your 6 and your 7, your 7 and your 8, your 8 and your 9, there's about 4 degrees of loft change. This is so we can hit the ball specific distances, okay? The one time it changes the top end of the bag, pitching wedge to sand wedge. Your traditional pitching wedge will have about 46 degrees of loft on the wedge and a sand wedge around 56, or even somebody wants to hit the ball higher, 58. 46, 56, 10 yards of gap. Too much to be able to hit full shots, similar yardages, and there's too much of a gap and it makes it quite awkward. What I like to see in a golfer is the ability to play a full shot and a 3/4 shot. If we combine a full shot and a 3/4 shot that then gets quite close to the next club, we know we're gapping well. The problem is between the pitching wedge and the sand wedge, that's not possible. So firstly, I'll hit my pitching wedge, full swing, see what the yardage is. I tend to find it's about 140 yard club for me, and then I'll hit a 3/4 one, and then find out how far that has a gap between that and the highest lofted club, my 56, and see what the distances are. Right, let's go first with the pitching wedge. Okay, so my full wedge shot there, yeah, it's landed at 140 and it's gone 145 yards, okay? So that's my full wedge, landing about 140. So now I think you should be able to play a nice aggressive 3/4 shot, again, something about 10 yards less than that, and see how controlled we can be with this club. So a 3/4 pitching wedge shot, so about 130-ish. So you see a little bit held off. It's come up a lot shorter, which is good. Yeah, landed at 128 for about 132. So, 128 for my 3/4, about 140, 145 for my full one. So now I'm going to hit my most lofted club. This is the club I use out of bunkers. It's a nice soft milled face. So it's a 58 degree wedge. Again, let's have a look how far my full shot goes with this one. Okay, so that's about the 100 yard mark. So this club tends to go about 100 yards. So about 140, 145 to 130 and then 100. We've got a problem. There's a 30 yard gap now in between my 3/4 pitching wedge and my most lofted club. We need to fill that gap. So 15 yards is quite good to have in between each club, but obviously we've got about 30. So what do? Easiest way of doing is, we look at the lofts. 46 to 58, we want it somewhere in between there. So I'm going to go with a 52 degree wedge. That should hopefully fill the gap. So I want to be able to play a full shot and a 3/4 shot with my 52 that obviously goes in between the pitching wedge and then the sand wedge. So we'll be looking for around 115 would be a good number, 120. I'd say 120 on the full shot, maybe 122, and then around 110 to 115 on the 3/4 shot. Let's see what we can find. Is it a full shot first, 52? Perfect. Okay, so that's about 120 through the air with my 52. So how about my 3/4 shot? So you can see 3/4 backswing, sawn off finish. 111, I believe that's in the air. Yeah, 111. Okay, so let's suddenly look at our data and see how I could obviously be a lot more consistent. I've got a 100 yard club now, so that's my full lob shot, lob wedge, sand wedge, what I use out of bunker. So I've got 100 yards. 111 yards, I've got my 3/4 one. It's a 10 yard gap, it's a pretty good gap. At 120, I've got my full with my 50 degrees, so 52 degrees, so that's a full shot because 120. So I've got 100, 111, 120, 121, so that's a nice gap again. My 3/4 wedge is now at 130 and my full one's carrying at 140. Suddenly I've got a fantastic gap. You look at the broad spectrum, pitching wedge 140, sand wedge 100, 3/4 one, 130, it's still a 30 yard gap. So now adding a club is being able to reduce the dispersion of how my distances are. It's going to make you a lot more consistent because again you're being committed to your shots rather than trying to have to chip them and be inconsistent. We've gapped it well to be able to actually produce a much more consistent result by using the correct club. If you want to come and see us, we've got the GC2, we can fit you that end of the bag really easily. All we need is a pitching wedge and a sand wedge, and we can find the right gaps to be able to hit the correct distances from whatever yardage you get on the golf course. I hope that was useful, and we'll see you again.